Well, does it really matter?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
We're live.
Yes, we are.
How's it going, guys?
All righty. So yeah, we're back, and we have the Shitlord preachers, as they like to call themselves.
Hurrah!
Yeah, we were actually on Amos's channel before, so now they are on our channel. So we'll go ahead and let the two fine gentlemen introduce themselves. So go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
Amos, you take it, man. No, Amos, man, you go ahead, man.
Oh,
go ahead,
so yeah, my name is Amos Joseph. I have my own YouTube channel, and we run the Shitlord Preachers podcast live stream on my channel, joined by my friend Brooke Potter, who's from the UK. But he's in Trinidad right now, so that's why we're able to pull this off, since it's not. Oh, what time would it be in the UK? 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it would be 2 in the morning if you were there, but you're here. It's only 8 at night. So yeah, we've been doing that for what, 9 months roughly,
give or take. Yeah, that's about right.
We've had a couple of guests. We had Hoppus Supremacy was the first one we had, although it was just me doing it instead of Brooke and myself.
Because it was 2 in the morning.
Because it was 2 in the morning for you. Because he was in the UK at the time. And then we've had a couple other guests, and we're having more guests lined up. So basically, we're libertarians talking about all sorts of stuff. But we also used to be preachers, right, Brooke?
Yeah, just segue to me on the easy stuff. Yeah, as everyone says, my name is Brooke Potter. Originally from the Twin Island nation of Trinidad and Tobago. I live in the UK, moved out there in 2016. And yeah, Amos and me used to be itinerant ministers, and we saw a lot of the cognitive dissidence and other sorts of craziness going on in the political sphere. And we decided that, that was a much bigger issue. It was more important, affected more people. And we just started talking and decided to share our conversations. And I think from it, we've made some great connections. I think, the YouTube community has been great. We've been, really reaching out to a lot of people. Again, I'd like to thank, Shane and Nico for having us on for Hoppus Supremacy. I'm sorry I missed you guys, man. It would have been so much fun to have that conversation. But I got a ton of questions for you guys tonight anyway. So
awesome.
I'm just here to have a good time, drinking my rum punch, which is like 35% proof. So it's going to be really good night.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good conversation then.
Oh, you know it, man. You know it. I don't have my Coca-Cola glass because I don't want any.
Oh, really?
Oh, crap.
Dan, he was just about to tell us about his Coke. Fuck.
Darn it.
Right as he said Coke, they cut him off. That must be YouTube there.
Oh, shit. He's talking about his Coke. Cut him off.
So we'll try to get him back. But, yeah.
Yeah, so talk about that hat you're wearing.
Yeah.
The hat. So kind of the big thing. We kind of, I guess, the whole shit posting thing I thought was really interesting, and I was really kind of like the whole meme of Kekistan, the whole joke on identity politics and everything, and did a little Googling, did a little Amazon shopping, and found a hat that could have a Velcro thing, and they had these little patches which you could put on like a military vest kind of thing, or if you want to put on the hat like I did. I just got a message. Brooke said he's going to be coming back, so but yeah, so it is. You guys know about Kekistan, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like I started out being like one of those.
Yeah, we were gonna get a flag or something.
We were gonna get a flag and go to a protest, but
instead
then
we got this one.
Well, after the people started getting attacked for wearing the flag here, then I was like, okay, never mind. That's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
flag's probably just as bad as having a Nazi flag or something.
Apparently.
Yeah, it definitely gets a little tricky. Like when I'm out in public, I have actually worn this in public a few times, and like I've gotten comments about it on the internet more so than I've gotten in public. I've never actually had anyone approach me about this. So, Yeah, Brooke, you just got back. We're talking about Kekistan.
I feel like I'm in Pakistan, man. I got like a power surge just now, guys. Sorry about that. Third world, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's all right. So yeah, go ahead and continue.
Oh yeah, so it's interesting because then we kind of thought like shitlord preachers. I think I came up with
Yeah,
that
you
name.
came up with it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, kind of the preacher thing, and then being like shitlords because like I guess there was a lot of this theme because there's the the drunken peasants. Wasn't there like the YouTube saints? There's just all these like words kind of thrown into these names. So I felt like basically like shitlord preachers would kind of fit into that. But a lot of people have kind of had haven't wanted to come on the show. Well, a few people have voiced some concern thinking that we could be easily seen as some sort of alt-right.
Yeah.
I'm sure people think that about.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Being Hapa, being I mean, Brooke is even a little bit mixed as well.
Yeah, I'm like 2% Japanese, man.
Exactly. But yeah, that's kind of where that came from. So just to let you guys know, we're not alt-right. We're like the furthest from alt-right you can be.
Without being alt-left.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ANCOMs or anything like that. So I think
Jesus. we're I call myself political non-binary.
There you go. Just put binary in front of it. And that's
Then you'll be hip and
good.
cool.
Yeah, you're good. Just put binary.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's what's kind of how we've been doing that. I don't know what else do you want me to say? Yeah.
So I actually wanted to ask Brooke because it says that you're a dual citizen of the Trinidad and Tobago, right, or Tobago?
Tobago is the proper way to say it.
Yeah, and also the UK. So how does that work, being a dual citizen of two countries?
It's great because I got like visa-free travel to over 200 countries because I have 2 passports.
Oh, that's badass. That's fucking cool.
It is. So if ever terrorists like jump on the plane, I just pull out the worst of the 2 passports, and they know they're never going to trade me for Trinidad and Tobago, right? So like in a hostage situation, I'm pretty much cleared. but I mean, seriously though, I mean, the UK is great. I got my citizenship through my mother. She was British. And it was actually when Amos and myself, we did a missionary trip out to Thailand many years ago. And I was like one of the few people who actually had to get a visa, right? Because all these guys had first world passports. You know, they could just walk right in. I had to go and get a shot. I mean, I don't know if you swear on this channel, right? But I had a shot on my ass.
I said fuck like 3 times already.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed it, man. I missed power surge, man. So I got like I had to get like a yellow fever shot up my ass, and you know I had to get like a World Health Organization thing to show that I've gotten all these.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I had to like stop with the health thing. So anyway, I was so pissed off with the Trinidad passport. I finally looked into the citizenship with my mom, and I realized I could get it. And from the application to the actual passport in my hand took me 3 months.
Wow, that is really fast.
It was incredible. Now, for the record, I've been trying to get to the US for like the better part of my adult life, and I've still not been able to manage that in any legal capacity. But I was very impressed with what the Brits did. So I moved across to the UK in 2016. I've been back and forth. So right now I'm back in Trinidad for a bit. My mom is not doing so great right now, so we're just kind of taking care of her. That's kind of why I'm back here right now.
Okay.
But it's the best thing. Since I've gotten that passport, I mean, Amos would tell you, like my YouTube channel is all about bitching about socialism in the UK, right? Especially things like it's like all the NHS stuff, which is the National Health Service, the brainwashing regarding taxes, and the Parliament is sovereign. We don't have a constitution. We're one of like 3 countries that actually don't have a codified written constitution. You might know about the Count Dankula thing, where he was arrested. So we don't have freedom of speech. Our mayor in London is now trying to ban knives from the country. So we're not even close to a Second Amendment. So I mean, it's a joke, right? The UK, as much as I love it,
You're a meme.
They're a meme, exactly. They were the pioneering voice of liberalism and freedom, the rule of law. All of that's gone to hell. And the problem is the people there have lived with it for so long, they don't even know the difference.
Yeah,
so when I come,
they're pretty much used to it.
Yeah, they're totally bought into it. Socialism is like their religion. The NHS, it's like talking to a religious zealot. So I mean, I haven't been brainwashed with this. I've lived all over the world, in Trinidad, in the US, elsewhere. So when I come across with these foreign ideas, let's just say the people who comment on my videos are not very impressed. But
right.
you got to fight. I've joined the Libertarian Party out there in the UK, and
I saw that. I saw that tweet about it. Yeah, there was I didn't know there was a Libertarian Party over there.
It's a very small party. It's been around for 10 years. They've solid growth. They've actually gotten members onto like city councils and a lot of local elections. So they've made some progress. We're trying to join up with Sargon of Akkad and the liberalist movement that he's trying to spearhead. But yeah, it's quite a fight being over there in the UK. If there was ever like a totalitarian tyranny kind of government, it's the UK government. I'll probably be arrested for saying that.
Well, you're on that side. You're on this side of the world, so you're probably fine.
For now.
I mean, Trinidad and Tobago.
Sorry?
What about Trinidad and Tobago? Like, is that country better in terms of like politics, or?
The politics is nonsense because Trinidad and Tobago is an oil and gas country. So you're basically looking like a Caribbean Saudi Arabia. So the people who are connected to the oil and gas and the banking sector are doing really well. But the everyday man on the street is not doing so well. And we have the curse of oil. So our other industries, they're falling apart. They're only concerned about oil and gas. Our oil revenue from 2017 to 2018 went from 19 billion US dollars to 2 billion US dollars.
That's a big drop.
Whoa.
Yeah, to say the least, right? And that's like our main industry. So for the first time, they're actually very concerned about revenue. The government actually has to like cut spending. And they're realizing the problem with the unions, the state unions. They're realizing the inefficiencies of these government agencies for the first time. They've had to like confront this stuff, massive layoffs. And again, there is no private sector to take up the slack. So it's getting bad. The crime is escalating. Of course, we're right next to Venezuela, so we're getting all of the refugees coming out of Venezuela. It's tense. Yeah, it's really tense, and nobody really knows what to do about it. And it's a mess.
Currency is fucked too, isn't it?
Yeah. Like we have a currency shortage in the country, so we can't exchange our money for US or like pounds or anything like that. So the black market is kicked in. So normally what would be like $6 TT to 1 US, the black market is doing 8 to 1. And I mean they're doing well because nobody can get money from the banks. Yeah. And it's the businesses are suffering, imports are suffering. It's very grim. Very, very grim.
Wow. That's crazy. That's really crazy.
Yeah, and like when the crime really started to escalate, we were talking about we need a Second Amendment. We need to arm the population against a lot of the gangs and stuff like this. And they won't have it. Like, they're talking about they want to bring in tasers and pepper spray, but like there's no political will to do anything. It's just stagnation. It's crazy, man. Absolute nuts.
Would you ever want me to visit there, Brooke?
Oh, the rum is great, man. Like, if you want to visit, the place is fantastic, right? It's a party lifestyle. There's something going on every night. There's more rum than you can drink or even dream of. The food is fantastic. The women are amazingly beautiful, but you wouldn't want to live here for very long.
Tourist thing, then probably.
Definitely.
Like the rest of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
That's true.
definitely.
So apparently, you know, since you were a citizen of the UK, I don't know if you know about this or not, because we're just talking about what's his face, Khan, the mayor of London or whatever.
Sadiq, yeah.
Yeah, because we kind of talked about it too on our previous video, where we kind of talked about ridiculous shit, and that was one of them. And
I saw that, yeah.
And I did my little spaz thing too, you know, that I'm known for. But apparently, London police are already removing garden tools. And
Yeah.
I guess Roaming tweeted about that. They're confiscating craft and home repair tools. Like, really? Like, now you can't even garden. Like, isn't that like a focal point of British culture? Is fucking gardening? That's all I hear. That's all I hear about, you know, Londoners and British, you know, the British folk. Yeah, I have to go, work on my garden today. You know, like now they can't do that. So now what are they gonna do?
No, it's totally a joke, man. It's like I put out a meme today of a guy eating a steak with a fork and a spoon, and it says, you know, that London feeling, because you know you can't have a knife again, right? But ironically, this knife thing has actually been going on for like at least a couple years. I think the campaign in Birmingham started in 2013, and there was a march in the streets, and people had to turn in their knives. And I follow, like, where I live in the North London area, I follow the local police, and they're always posting about these supposed weapons that they seize. And it's like spoons and like kindergarten scissors and, you know, like butter knives and stuff like that. And we're like, mate, like, I just want to put some butter on my toast. Like, why are you?
So that's actual legit confiscation, like forced. You're basically being forced to give up your weaponry, right?
Yeah. We don't have self-defense laws in the UK. Like, there is no legal ramification for owning a firearm except for sport.
That is legit retarded. Like, legit retarded. Like, not borderline retarded, as Dave Smith says. No, that's legit retarded.
I agree.
Hey, this spoon, I'm gonna jam it up your eye. Is what they're thinking. That spoon.
Yeah, I told Amos this. Like, Amos and myself are having this conversation, and I told him, like, if the area I live in is a little dodgy, you know, it's fine, but there's some elements there that aren't great. If I go to the police and I say, look, I'm a little concerned for my safety, I want to get a firearm for self-defense, that's illegal. Because I'm admitting that I want to buy an object with the intent to do another person bodily harm. So I can't. There's no, the only legal self-defense mechanism you could buy in the UK is what's called a rape alarm, which is like a belt thing you could put on, and if somebody tries to rip off your pants, it goes off. That's it. That's the only legal self-defense.
Fucking Batman or something with a utility belt? What the fuck is going on over there?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like she was just saying she's glad as a woman that she doesn't live there. Because could you imagine, like, a whistle is my weapon.
Yeah, I got a rape alarm, but, you know, nothing else to defend myself with.
Yeah. You're basically letting everyone know, hey, I'm being raped right now.
It's crazy. I mean, Amos, you're going through the steps now to consider getting a firearm, right? Like,
oh yeah. So
I would do it, man.
Oh yeah. I've actually spoken to like people who do classes. I've even spoken to police officers about the whole process, and it's surprising compared to what the narrative is out there about how not easy it is to get a firearm, how easy it is to ruin it, to basically have your gun rights basically suspended, taken away, have your carry license taken away, and how many actual legal guns are used in crimes, which is almost none. I didn't get into the exact percentage, but I mean, I've spoken to police officers that all say every gun they confiscate, any gun that they're using in a crime, it's almost always stolen or illegally owned somehow, you know.
Yeah.
That's the argument over here in America. You know, a lot of the times it's, you know, oh, the person got it from their parents and they know where they kept their weapon, or you know, they got it from,
Then it's the parents' fault.
Yeah, or, something like that. They got some elite. It wasn't. I purchased it, and I'm a hunter, and now I'm gonna start killing people because whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like an NRA member, and I just got a gun, and now I'm gonna go kill children.
Yeah, National Racquetball Association.
And then I've even asked them like if you look at the statistics for what kind of guns are used in the most common shootings, your regular pistol, your handgun, and in the same way, if you look, and then they're worried about some guy with a 50 cal at home. I've met people with 50 cals at home, and they're like almost never use it. They'll only ever take it to the range. They're not using that for self-defense.
Right.
And so I think in the same way with cars, and I asked a police officer, they said, oh yeah, first off, cars kill way more people. Second of all, the people who are owning like high-end guns are not going to be shooting, are not the highest at risk to actually commit a crime with their weapon. In the same way with cars, everyone's definitely crashed a car, regardless of the car. Mm-hmm. But the guy with the most expensive car, or like a whole collection of cars, probably not going to crash as many times as the guy that bought a used car for like $500 off Craigslist and decided to go drinking and crashed, or the car accident where it was Grand Theft Auto,
Hey, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, apparently that's I think it was Grand Theft Auto 5. Isn't that the most sold game of all time or something like that?
Yeah. I heard so.
I heard that also makes people kill a lot too.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're blaming that in the UK.
People kill a lot, and the amount of games amount of copies that game is sold, pretty much every single person will be out there, purge style, killing people.
Yep.
Running up to cars, pulling them out.
Yeah, and all the politicians, both Republican and Democrat, that go out there and say that, the video games are the blame. Trump himself, the video games were responsible for these murders and these killings. I'm like, really? Get the fuck out of here. I guarantee 90% of the politicians never played a fucking video game in their life.
I mean, they're doing the same thing in the UK. They're saying that, it's the video games, it's the internet. So like we also have censorship, right? We have like very strict porn and like violent content censorship coming to the UK. Right. So like if you want to watch porn, you have to go to a committee and all kinds of nonsense. I mean, I mean, you guys have no idea. You really don't have an idea of what's coming, do you?
Hey, I want to look at some porn. Can I do that?
Yeah, like if it's hate fucking and stuff like that. You need a license. Like, yeah, like Brazilian fart porn or some nonsense, You need a license. You need a porn license. Well, that's what they're bringing, and they're blaming everything on the internet at this point.
It's almost like the UK is basically saying that the population have zero responsibility, no
personal responsibility.
Yeah, no personal responsibility at all. We'll take care of you. We're the government. We know what's best for our population. That's basically what's happening right now here in the U.S.
Well,
correct.
Well,
you can
we're on the verge of it.
Yeah. But it's not that bad, but it's getting there.
It's coming. Like, take what we're going through as a warning.
So actually, what were your feelings on when Brexit happened? Is it pretty much happening, or is it like not?
Yeah, really? I mean, it's happening, but very slowly. I was thrilled. No, I couldn't vote for Brexit because I wasn't in the country at the time. But I mean, like you, I espouse libertarian principles that government needs to be as close to the people as possible. So the bureaucratic monstrosity of Brussels was just completely out of control. So I'm definitely pro-Brexit. I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, let's just be real. The UK at one point had the largest empire in the world. And yes, it fell apart, but they're capable of managing their affairs on a global level. So I'm not worried about the fact that they're separating from the European Union. I think the UK is going to do great. What's going on right now is the fight between Merkel and the Eurocrats. They want to punish us for basically two reasons. One, they want our money, because I think we contribute like one of the biggest portions, maybe the third largest portion of their budget. So they want our money. But the second reason, if we get out of the EU with no tariffs and no punishments, they send a signal to every other member in the bloc that it's okay to leave the EU, and then everybody's going to run for the door.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically telling you that the EU is a fucking. It's like
it's dead. It's a monster. Yeah, it was dead on arrival. The productivity in the country has been like, I'm a trader. I'm a portfolio manager, so I watch the EU. I watch the production. So
you know all about the financial.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. The monetary system is a mess. It's all based on debt. We've had numerous financial crises. I mean, it's going to implode. So Britain getting out is, yes, they'll let it out because we don't use the euro, so we still have our own currency.
Right.
So it's not gonna affect the euro and some of the trading bloc. But if we get out without tariffs or very low tariffs, Hungary, Greece, Italy, Ireland, all of them are going to go for the door.
Because how many countries? I don't know if you know the exact number, but there are a lot of countries that are struggling right now that are part of the EU, and I think Greece is one of them.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember other countries, but I mean, if the EU was some like amazing, pot of gold type of thing or whatever, why are countries struggling in it?
Correct.
Really really badly.
Yeah. Like I explain this to people in Greece, right? So again, finance 101, a country's ability to devalue the currency is like the last stopgap before economic collapse of a country, right? So when you don't control your currency, like Greece, this is basically what caused the Greek crisis. When they no longer had their own currency, they're depending on the euro. Everything was too inflated. Everything was too expensive because the currency was so strong, even though their economy was so weak. They reached up to like 40% unemployment because nobody could afford to work. It's basically like the minimum wage effect, right? When the minimum wage is really, really high, you exclude people from the workforce. The same thing happened when the currency was so inflated versus the value of the work that they're able to do. Now, that would be fixed in a normal economy where you just say, well, you devalue the currency to bring it down to where the money is matching what people could earn. They couldn't do it. And it screwed the country.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, yeah, because the minimum wage is at like, a ridiculous amount, say, for example, like, I don't know, 20 pounds or something an hour or whatever, the business has to pay that amount at least for one person to work there. What if they don't make any money? They're losing money every day because they can't even afford to pay their own own workers.
Yeah. So having the euro as that start, it's like basically saying that your starting salary has to be like a bar of gold. You have to produce enough value to earn a bar of gold, right? That's like what, $1,200 right now, or whatever the case might be. So because the value of the euro was so high and they couldn't deflate the value, people started hoarding it, so it went into hiding. They couldn't get currency.
No spending.
No spending. Yeah, because you're hoarding the money, right? Because it's valuable, right? So nobody wants to spend their euros. The whole economy just dried up. It was a complete disaster.
Yeah, so because like I worked in restaurants, and I don't know if everyone else here has worked at least one restaurant in their life, whatever. That when because sometimes a manager will look at like the money figures, whatever. So okay, right now our labor is we're spending more money on our labor than we're actually making, so we're gonna have to let some of you go because we can't afford to pay all you right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Amos had that situation, didn't you?
Yeah. So, because I've told you guys where I used to work, not to mention on the stream, but where I used to, when I was in restaurant business as a general manager, I had to manage this. And Minnesota, when they bumped the minimum wage from $8 an hour to $9 an hour, we had to figure that cost in. So in certain parts of the day, we had to, like, let's say on a Friday and we're busy, we had to like, okay, cut one person here, cut one person here, because we got to still make a profit. And and the prices on these food items are going to go up. And then this fee, there was like certain fees we had for certain food items. Oh, that's going to go up too. And basically one thing leads to another, and we can't produce as much, but we're expected to produce just as much with fewer people. And we had to cut a lot tighter. It's just $1 an hour multiplied across the entire store. Now employees are costing more money. Food is costing more money to offset that cost. And then I think it also even kind of puts businesses kind of in a panic because they don't know how it's going to affect things. So they not only cut people, but they hike prices. So I think it's a double effect. It's like everything's more expensive now and we can't produce as much. So
yeah,
it fucks over the employee, the employer, and the consumer, and all of that. So
yeah, but $15 an hour, that's so much better than $7 an hour. So because poor people can't live off of $7 an hour. So
Amos, what's the minimum wage in Venezuela? Like $100 an hour now?
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Right?
dude, we should go live there. Get a job there, man.
I mean, I love the meme that goes out and say, like, why are we sending all this foreign aid to all these poor countries? Why don't they just raise the minimum wage? It's like, if that really brought prosperity, we wouldn't need all this foreign aid, right?
It's almost like all the dummies who are advocating for raising the minimum wage, whatever. They can't, like, and you tell them, hey, if we do that, like we were just talking about, raising food costs, and we have to cut people because we can't afford it. It's like, it's basic economics, you fucking idiots. Do you not understand? Like, were you not in school? Did you not learn about this yourself? No, it feels good to know that I'm paying somebody more money than I should, or whatever.
When I first learned about inflation growing up, actually, the way it was explained it to me was actually what's called the wage price spiral, which is basically raise wages, but it wasn't talking about like raising minimum wage, but then like my dad explained it to me like, well, as people get paid more, people who are maybe on fixed certain wages will start to want to ask for raises. So the more people get paid, the more the cost of things can go up, the more people can afford. So if the consumer is now making more money, well, then now the person who's providing the good wants to make more money as well. So there's this spiral. If you artificially mess with that, it becomes just clusterfuck. I mean, literally, it's like, hey, we're gonna make them the idea of minimum wage, I guess, where it falls apart is we want to make more money so we can afford all this stuff. Well, that stuff comes from these people, so that's gonna go up.
Prices go up, exactly.
Right, and it's just I call it that wherever you have like the invisible hand, the laissez-faire invisible hand. You never want to mess with the invisible hand with the visible hand, which is the government.
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah, I mean, it's simple. I don't understand how people can't comprehend that simple. It's so simple. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense how people are going to be an advocate of all this other bullshit.
And they start putting feelings into it. That's why, because you're like, I'm a single mom and I need $15 an hour because I didn't have time to get an education, so I need to like make enough money to pay for my bills and my kids and everything. So then people just get caught up in that.
I mean, where did you guys learn this then? I mean, economics wasn't taught very much in our school. I learned it independently. But where did you guys? Amos said he got some in school. I don't know if this is like part of the curriculum out there.
For me, well, I mean, they do teach it in school, but they don't really go over it that much. I learned it mostly from my parents.
Cool.
Yeah, and for me, it was just firsthand job experience because I used to work at at a fast food place, whatever, and because like I was saying before, the manager were looking at labor costs and we're spending more on this and we're losing money, so we need two of you can go home because we can't afford to pay you. It's like simple firsthand, on the job experience basically tells you, okay, well, you can't, a fucking business can't afford to pay like 10 employees $15 an hour if they're not making, and like, okay, if a huge business, if they can't afford that $15 an hour, then more power to them. But not every single business is going to be able to afford that.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I think. Oh, I was just gonna say it'd be funny if you looked at a real world. I mean, to really give a real world example, if they had like a video of like, let's say like, they had like, generic fast food restaurants. So there's like 5 employees in there and a manager, and then they go in there and be like, we're working really hard. We want a $1 raise, and then the manager says, okay, one of you can go home now, but all of you will get a $1 raise, and they'd be like, whoa, 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 but I'm losing on money, and they'd be like, yeah, because that's what happens. That'd be an interesting video.
Not only that, then they'll just hire women because apparently women get paid less than men.
Hold on. We're not getting too complicated here. Now we got gender in there.
Hey, apparently it was fucking gender pay wage gap day or something.
Yeah, yesterday was pay gap day or some nonsense.
Yeah, like
You know
really?
what's so funny about that? All the people at my job, I always you're not really supposed to talk about salary and stuff, but all the men who talk about it, I'm like, whoa, I make more than you. I don't understand because we do the same job. Shouldn't I be less than you guys? But
Right.
Dang. Amos, do you make more than the women in your office?
There are no women in my office.
Oh, how dare you!
In my field of work, there is a woman who is the administrative. She's like kind of like the HR for our office, and I think there's like one woman that does what I do, but she just started, and there's definitely some concerns because it's a physically demanding job. So,
like,
are
you suggesting men and women are different?
I am suggesting women should be property. No.
Hey, property rights. Property rights.
No, I thought I would go a little Kathy Newman here. So what I'm saying is actually.
So what you're saying is that you think that women are like slaves.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's why I was like this. I was like, I got you now. What are you gonna say about that?
Clean your room.
Chapter 1, clean your room. Oh, fuck.
I can't believe people get mad about that. Like they got mad. They're like, how dare you tell me to clean my room?
Yeah, it's my room. Do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, that's what that one guy, that dusty guy, said.
That's a guy.
Yeah.
What's his last name? Rhodes or
I don't know.
Smith?
He's Dusty Smith.
Of course it is.
He has a chicken for a profile picture.
A chicken, yeah.
I was actually talking to Brooke just before the stream that I've been starting to see my fair share now of some alt-writers that are like, it's on Facebook. So I'm in some like Facebook groups that are like very mixed of like conservatives, libertarians, and alt-writers. And some alt-writers were saying some stuff, and like basically we're just kind of showing the whole like, they're just triggered because one of them was saying something about like Ben Shapiro, and I was like, well, why do you think that? And they're like, because he's retarded, because conservatives are basic bitches. And I'm like,
great argument.
I'm like, right. I'm like, good, you can have your view, but why? And they're just like, because he's a normie or whatever. And it's
once they resort to name calling, they pretty much lost the argument.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm like, I tell people like, it's like, yeah, go be all right, be whatever, but just don't be a dick. Believe what you want, just don't be a dick to other people about your views. Don't just like, and then because I think every view, whether it's alt-right, conservative, libertarian, even, definitely has its faults in it. There's definitely like edges of it where like people can definitely have their cognitive dissonance. They'll believe one thing but not believe another, and they kind of do a little gymnastics in their head to try to get out of tough spots. And I think acknowledging that is definitely important. But like some people will just be like, oh, I don't like Ben Shapiro because like basically the things they were saying was like, he's not saying anything new. And I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong with that. You can have the same message the whole time. Well, he's religious, but he says facts don't care about your feelings. Yeah. And there are a lot of scientists who are religious yet still make discoveries. It doesn't matter. There's just, I don't know. There's things that are true that I think should be taken from every view. That's what I was trying to say, I guess.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if they're gonna disagree with Ben Shapiro, that's fine. I mean, he gets that all the time. But give examples, or give a good retort or something like that. I mean, I know for me personally, I know like I probably wouldn't agree with his foreign policy a lot, but other than that, he's way smarter than I am on a lot of issues. And
yeah, when he talks about like things on, I think that's the more relevant, like more of the, because he'll say he has libertarian views, and on those I'll be like, great, when he talk, like he'll say I have my views on something, but I think the government shouldn't get involved, and that's totally fine. And people want to try to like bring those together and think, oh, well, he's an Orthodox Jew and he's like super religious, so how can he talk about facts and feelings? It's like, yeah, and you believe, I'm just speaking of the alt-right people. Yeah, and you believe in a white ethno state, yet, here we are.
Believe in a white ethno state, yet they apparently are okay with Asians.
Yeah, most of them.
Oh, I'll stay quiet for the next few minutes.
There you go. So how we're kind of doing a right turn on what we're talking about, but we're talking about like diversity or whatever, and then with the whole thing with Facebook and Zuckerberg having his Senate hearing or whatever, and Cory Booker was talking to him, and it's a joke.
Right? Is a senator?
Yeah, senator. It's basically all senators.
An angry black man. We'll say
the angry black man senator. Okay.
But see, the thing that he's saying was like, the gist of it was him. What the questioning was basically him saying, obviously all these data breaches and all this information that it's a huge problem. But why aren't there enough black people and working at Facebook? It's like, really? That's the fucking question you're gonna ask. And it's not just Facebook. Twitter has problems with it.
The whole tech industry.
All the tech. Well, I don't know. Maybe the black people don't want to go in the tech industry. I don't know. Why don't you ask them?
Hey, that's racist. You can't say that.
Why Zuckerberg? Motherfucker lives in a big. I don't know what the fuck.
He really does look like a lizard.
Well, that's beside the point. But why asking Mark Zuckerberg about that? He's just one person. He's a fucking CEO. He, fucking rides a private jet ride every 2 seconds of his fucking life.
Well, when he asked him that, he had this face. He's like,
yeah, and again,
how is he gonna know?
How's he gonna know about that? And a lot of his answers, which again, I'm not expecting him to know every single thing about his company, because he has people who do it for him, or whatever. Right. But a lot of the answers he was saying was, well, I'll get back to you. I'll have my people get back to you on that. And they're like, all of a sudden, okay, I'd like to have you follow up on that. Giving you an ass, on the questions.
Did you guys happen to see the tweet? So Brooke and I both retweeted it. It was, is it just my imagination, or is Zuckerberg failing the Turing test in front of the Senate? Do you guys know what the Turing test is?
I don't think they know what the Turing test is.
No.
So Alan Turing, he was the one of the first guys, one of the big computer science pioneers. He was the guy that Benedict Cumberbatch was playing in that one movie where they made a computer.
The Imitation Game. You
guys remember that one? Mm-hmm. So that's who he was playing. He was one of the first big thinkers that basically created modern day computers. The Turing test was basically how do you determine that you've created a true AI? Basically, the Turing test is passed if you can interact with a computer and never know it's a computer.
Wait, wasn't that? Well, sorry, I think I've heard of that before, actually.
Yeah, it's called the Turing test. Basically, if you were able to speak with the computer, not being told it's a computer, would you be able to tell it's a computer? And if you could never tell it was a computer, it has passed the Turing test. Basically, it's a true AI person, true computer. So then people were joking and saying, is it just Zuckerberg failing the Turing test? Because they said the way he behaved was very much like a computer.
Yeah,
he's just sitting there. He's just I'm gonna have some water.
Yeah, he has
and I'm gonna smile awkwardly right after I say a certain thing, and it's basically joking that he's a robot.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Hillary Clinton. just kind of like, yeah.
She was a little bit better than him, though, which is kind of sad.
She had a lot of work though. She had a team behind her, cleaning her up.
Making sure all the algorithms working in her brain and stuff.
I'm also wondering if the people who are like really ecstatic about all this that's going on right now with Facebook are like the Winklevoss twins. Have you seen The Social Network? Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
I haven't. No, I haven't. But I know the story though. I know the story of Facebook. And
I don't know the story.
It's great. It's a great movie. David Fincher is awesome. He's a great director. But anyway, because the whole story is like, Mark Zuckerberg basically, stole this idea. I don't know. It's based off of a book or whatever. But the people behind that book and the Winklevoss twins, they must be like, yeah, that's what you fucking get, you motherfucker. Everybody smile, like a big ass fucking smile, like, yeah, that's right, you better. Because some people are predicting, and I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook becomes obsolete in 5 years because of this.
Well, yeah, there's all the basically like 40 and 40 plus people are using it now. So.
Yeah, and MySpace basically went down for, I don't know, what did they go under for?
I don't know. Well, when Facebook
they were crushed by Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, when Facebook came about, then people just kind of went to that.
It's funny. What was his name that was on MySpace? The guy that everyone was friends with?
Oh, Tom Anderson, I think.
Tom, yeah. So someone took like the picture, the picture of Tom with the thumbs up, and it says that feeling when you're not in front of a Senate hearing.
Yeah. Or what about even Twitter, like Jack, whatever his fucking last name is, he's probably like, oh man, I better not fuck up now, because obviously Twitter.
They're already fucking up with Project Veritas and everything, exposing them.
Oh
for exposing all their like shadow banning and stuff.
We've seen that. What's that about?
Veritas, it was some like reporters and stuff basically like set up undercover situations where they would like hang out with software engineers and stuff.
Yes.
And they'd straight up just say, yeah, we shadow ban people with right-wing views. And
not only that too, but also like your direct messages to people are not actually private. We see all those.
Yeah, they see all that too. So
God, the amount of porn that they've seen in my
I know, right?
Funny.
Yeah, you guys and I we know of a few people who have been shadow banned multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like a bunch of my followers have been shadow banned, and I can't. It's so like I haven't been shadow banned, but it's so annoying because I'll be like, there's a tweet, but it's like unavailable. But then I have to click on the person's profile, but I don't know who it is. So it's like I'm just missing all these things.
And they basically, when you're layered up with like all the replies and tweets, they basically move them away. So you're constantly like going back and forth trying to reference where you're at in tweets.
But why would you guys be shadow banned then? It's not alt-righters. Are they going after hackers? Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly.
I don't know. They're just. It seems to be a lot of people who follow me because I don't know why. Like I don't know if that's just like they're all the same type of like account or something. I don't know. Like they.
I wonder if there's some algorithm.
I don't know.
It's very odd. I know in the UK we have a couple like mainstream characters like Tommy Robinson,
right.
Amber Marie something, I can't remember her name. But these people speak out against Islam and stuff like that, and they're always being banned. They're always having their tweets taken down and stuff like that. And it's quite troubling because of course our parliament believes these people are like extremists when a lot of their views are kind of mainstream, So that's our concern. So
Lauren Southern is a terrorist, by the way.
Yeah, well, Lauren Southern's been banned from the UK. That tells you what kind of. But so like, who's being banned then? Like in your circles then?
Well, I've only seen people shadow banned. Well, okay, actually, Auntie just got perma banned, like permanently banned from Twitter.
That was the traps thing, wasn't it?
No, that was the turfs thing.
Turfs.
Yeah, banned for like the dumbest stuff. Like they pick like the most innocent things to ban him for. I'm like, really? Like you could find something better to ban him for, but then I don't know if people just report him or something, but he got banned. What is this, like the third time? Time?
Yeah. And then there's we know Pat Sullivan.
Yeah, that was annoying. He got shadow banned.
He got shadow banned like 3 times. So then he shut off his account, made a new one, and he's like keeping it a lot more professional, he said. So
I saw that. I was actually going to have him on a live stream sometime after he has a couple articles out. So.
But yeah, I mean, and then there's what's his name? Who's the guy that does a lot of like artwork and stuff in something?
Oh, you mean Circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still
yeah, he's shadow banned all the time too.
So annoying because I want to see like his replies, but I have to go to his profile in order to see it. So. It's been shadow banned for, like, I don't know, like more than a couple. I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks now or something.
There's probably some sort of algorithm somewhere that sees, okay, you follow these people, which have been reported to, to be concerning, and then if you tweet these certain things, it's going to trigger an algorithm to shadow ban you. And maybe he's just tweeting a certain kind of thing. Not that he shouldn't, but it's just constantly shadow banning.
It's crazy.
That just makes me worried.
Oh, and Benjamin is banned again.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Owen Benjamin was permanently banned.
His primary and his backup were both banned at the same time.
Suspended from YouTube and banned from Twitter.
Do you guys have like a backup thing then? Like, are you all on other things besides Twitter and stuff like that?
We started a Steam it, but we didn't post anything yet.
Yeah, we need to start posting stuff on Steam it. Yeah.
Yeah. What about Gab? You guys use Gab?
I have a Gab, but I don't use it, mostly because I heard that there's a lot of people in the alt-right on there, and I don't really want to.
I have a Minds account, but I don't use it that much either.
Yeah, I have a Minds as well.
I have Discord, or we have Discord, and I'm in like one server, but I don't really understand anything about it. It goes really fast. Like you really have to keep up with Discord.
Amos is big on Discord, aren't you?
Well, I'm in a couple of them. I'm in Mining Freedoms. I'm in Bunty King's Discord. I'm also in that one Facebook group I was mentioning earlier, their Discord.
You should let Amos run your Discord server.
What?
You have a server?
Well, I don't. I mean, you can make one really easily. You just need to make one, and then you can have like the basic thing is like you have like a general chat room, and then you can have like a chat room to like communicate to your fans, another chat room to like for other people to communicate. So like, for example, they'll always have like a general one, announcements, and then they have like, oh, here's where you post links, here's where you post YouTube videos. Every Discord chat has a not safe for work section too. So
the porn archive.
Exactly. And if you ever go see Bunty Kings, they're all equally active. So there's people that are talking about regular stuff. There's people that are shit posting. There's people that are posting all sorts of stuff.
I haven't seen his server yet.
I tried being in Count Dankula's Discord server.
Dank Brigade.
Dank Brigade. My phone almost exploded because there was because what you can do in there is, depending upon how many people are in there, you can click at everyone. Basically, everyone's notified of a message. So every other person at everyone. So you're just constantly blowing up because you're everyone.
That's why I disabled notifications for that app on my phone, because I was at work and I'm like, why do I have like 100 notifications? And I'm only in one server. So.
Yeah. Terrible. But yeah, no, it's a good way to communicate with people. It's definitely not censored like Twitter or Facebook is. I mean, there's definitely things in there where they definitely do have terms and conditions. So like, and I mean, they're not monitoring everything, but if you're definitely like have a server, that's like obviously just like.
I just hope that Discord doesn't get to that point where one person will fuck it up for everybody, and then it'll just become another.
Well, that's the thing is it shouldn't be one person fuck it up for everyone. It should be one person fuck it up for themselves, and that's it.
That's the sad reality of it is, one person does it, and well, I guess that one person doesn't have anybody else do it, and they gotta make all these stupid rules.
Oh, this person was posting a whole bunch of Holocaust pictures. Let's just ban everyone. It's like,
Exactly.
Crazy, man. Yeah, you guys got to get a Discord server. I mean, especially if you're going for the. I was watching your Hapa Ethno State stream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, Amos was in that, right? Yeah, Amos, you were there.
Yeah.
2.5 hours,
He was on the
guys.
far left.
He was on the far left. I saw.
Yeah.
I only caught the first hour though. It was, I'm sorry, it was late here.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, you guys, you guys got to unite around this ideology and start networking.
All right.
Exactly.
It was good, though. I felt like we did a pretty good job moderating because there were definitely a few times where people started like talking
But
over each other.
it wasn't bad compared to the other streams. Like when I have more than one person, usually everybody just talks over each other. But
Yeah.
that one we were pretty late.
Yeah, everyone was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. Well, I mean, as I say, I only caught the first hour. I heard it kind of calm down later on. A couple people left, and you guys were having a good time, good talk. But yeah, I mean, the Ethno State thing, man, that was really really great. I was really enjoying that.
I honestly think of all the streams that we've done, I think that was probably the best one, just in terms of just the conversation as a whole, I think.
Yeah, we kept pretty on track.
Yeah.
Because I had like specific things that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, some questions that she wanted to ask, and everybody got the answer, so it was great. It was, we're definitely going to do another one, hopefully, I don't know, within the next month, I would think. Yeah.
I mean, so what is the plan for this whole Hapa supremacy thing? I mean, is this going to be like the TV network eventually, and like your own brand of Coca-Cola sodas?
That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that'd be cool if we actually did it. Like, hey, this person's got to start streaming or, start doing stuff for our YouTube channel or something, and they actually get paid for it. That'd be tight. But because right now we just have a Patreon. If anyone wants to, become a patron,
It's chilling again.
Yeah, we actually have one of the things is, well, one of the tiers is we make driving videos where we just we'll film us driving.
Yeah, we have to do that this weekend. This is gonna be fun.
Sometime within the month because we actually do have someone who gave us 50.
Asians
someone gave
driving Asians.
Because he drives like a maniac, and I freak out, and I'm sorry, I can't help it, but I feel like every time we go on the highway, we're gonna die.
Yeah. So one person, right as of right now, one person gets to see it. Viral Bunny is the one that gave us the moolah, so they get to see not only they get to see that, but they also get to do a private Google Hangout with us. So it's gonna be us three. You hear us, Viral Bunny? You get ready.
I love it. It's great.
So if anybody else,
Like
so if anybody else wants to see the ridiculous video of us driving and her, getting all freaking out because she thinks we're gonna die. This is it. We're gonna die.
What if we actually die?
I know, right?
Keep filming.
It would go viral.
There you go. Oh my God, that's what they look like. Oh wow, this is amazing.
It's like, oh, this is their death video. Great.
How did they
Thanks for showing our Patreon. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, circle is our.
But yeah, like we know $1. $1. You get to what is it? Fuck, I don't remember what I put on there.
Well, we'll be
Oh, $1. We follow you on Twitter, but if we already follow you, we put you in a patron list. So right now there's 3 people in our patron list on Twitter, and then $5 is we get to say, hey, thanks for following us on a video. So we get to put your name on a video of ours and tell everyone that you give us money because you like our stuff.
That's great though. That's really epic.
Yeah, it was cool because at first it was oh my God. When we got the first $1, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing! I can't believe we actually have $1. It's crazy. It's so cool. Like,
Go buy yourself a McDouble.
I know, right? Give us a McDouble, shit, or one of those apple pies.
Exactly.
Wait, are you guys hoping to do it full time? Is that like the ultimate goal then?
To be honest, I don't really know because it would be nice to do it full time, but I mean, as of right now, it's just something that we're having fun doing, and if it gets to that point, that'd be awesome. But I don't want to say that's our ultimate goal because I honestly don't know where this is going to end up. Because I mean, who knows? I don't want to dream like too big because like you were saying before, could this be like a channel or something? Like a you know, like a
TV show.
Yeah, a TV show, or whatever. I mean, who knows? I mean, fucking Romy Molina has her own show on CRTV, and she started on YouTube, so anything's possible. Like, anything is possible, you know?
Pretty cool.
Have her on.
Oh,
Romy Molina,
yeah. Eventually, we're gonna have Romy Molina on. Apparently,
I just need to schedule it. I'm really.
Yeah,
I don't know,
You guys are having all sorts of names on here.
yeah, it's in the planning stages right now. Yeah, we have a lot of names that we have.
I have a lot of people who I've asked, but I just have not scheduled yet.
Yeah.
Have any of them complained about the name Hapa Supremacy?
No, nobody's
The only person that would really wanted to know was Mikey. He was like, I want to know about this Hapa Supremacy thing. He was like, not in like, you know, I don't, you know, like but just wanted to know, you know.
Oh, I know. What about Liberty Dolls? Like, I need to watch your videos. I don't know what you're about.
Oh yeah. Because we asked her before, and she's like, I want to see your stuff first. I want to know what I'm getting.
That's smart.
Are you guys having her on?
Watch videos of the people who you're live streaming with.
Yeah. So Liberty Doll, watch her stuff, and then do a live stream with us.
Is she?
Yeah,
is she having? Oh. Because so
well, she actually did share one of our videos.
Oh, she did. Oh yeah, that's right.
The Love Is Louder one, because she said that, you know, it made her laugh. So that was a good feeling.
Awesome.
Yeah, I did reach out to her, and there's nothing against her at all. I definitely understand her concern, but she thought people could misunderstand that she's all right if she came on the Shitlord Preachers.
Oh really?
Yeah. She was one of the people I reached out, and she was like really prompt and like, you know, nice, and she's like, hey, everything looks really good. I like it, but bam.
Yeah. No, it's understandable. I mean, you know. Because people go on things all the time, and then they find out, you know, later on, oh shit, that was a, you know, Nazi propaganda thing or something, or, you know, all white.
Don't worry, we're just
podcast.
We're just half Asian supremacists or something like that.
There goes my political career.
I've actually thought about at some point maybe I'd like try some like local government, but then I was like, you never know what it's going to be like. Someone's going to Google, so what's your full name? Oh, my full name is Amos Joseph, my last name. And then they're going to like Google me and go, oh.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
He doesn't like government. Oh.
It's like, oh great, we're going to hire him for a government job.
Right.
Well, not even hire. It's like, oh, we want to elect someone that's like this, and then they'll like put picture, and of course they're gonna take my Twitter profile picture right now and put that all over a town.
Oh yeah, because got that Hitler mustache going.
Exactly. So does Shane.
Hitler mustache.
Don't forget Shane. He's in that picture too. You're going down with me.
Yeah, I know
That's
it
true.
was.
That was.
But I didn't share it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Cop out.
You know what's
Yeah,
funny?
We got our own pictures to share. We got Kim Jong-un praising us, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Well, you are that.
Hear that, Simple? Hear that? He's the one that makes our meme pictures.
He's our meme creative director.
Yeah, so like the one that we have with, you know, Trump, you know, and the Trumpster fire. Have we shared that one yet?
The Trumpster fire.
There's so many.
Yeah, Will Porter actually said that. What about Trumpster fire?
Oh, I did.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Trumpster fire.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
We're living on a fashion society.
On a quick side note, then, like, am I like one of the whitest people that have actually been on Hapa Supremacy?
No.
I don't
No,
know.
No, there are a lot of white people.
I mean, in terms of maybe.
Stan's a white guy, right?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
we had Stan on. And Will
So what are the
Porter's
rules?
What are the rules?
I don't know. That's what we needed. We were going to make another Hapa Ethno State live stream to come up with the rules of the Ethno State.
We're gonna draft a constitution.
Funny because it's so stupid. Well, I mean, like Brooks' lighting, it makes it like really white. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that's the bulb right here, man. Don't
but,
worry.
the whole reason we named ourselves Hapa Supremacy was basically as a joke because our Hapas, you know,
Yeah,
they're
'cause
giving her shit. And then I guess I got into it somehow.
No, because they were like, she's dating this guy who's also half Asian, but he looks more Asian than white. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either. But it was basically it was basically naming the channel Hapa Supremacy as basically a fuck you to our Hapas. So
No, I've never read the R Hoppers. I know it's really cancerous.
well,
and there's like an ideology behind like if it's male or female.
I would say the best way to kind of get like a quick overview is to watch Hi I Think I'm Real's video on the R Hoppers, because he basically gives a good
Yeah, that's basically that.
Yeah. And he was like, I don't know what the fuck, and it's toxic. Like fucking Esther Koo on Twitter was getting shit because she said
recently.
Yeah, it was recently. She was getting shit because of jokes she was saying on Twitter or tweets.
Yeah, she's a comedian from New York City, right?
I think so, or something like that. But basically making fun of Asians because Asian people can't make fun of their own race, But she was getting shit for that. And I was like, wow, yeah. I think I said something along the lines of, the R Hoppers, that's a pretty fucking toxic Reddit. And she's like, yeah, because she was basically getting shit from them.
Yeah,
so
because they were saying like you're being racist against Asian males.
Yeah, because it makes us hurt. It hurts our feelings. We can't have sex with white women.
Hear that, Amos?
It's just about them not being able to get girls, basically.
Yeah, so fucking it all comes down to the women, man. Fucking gender, I'm telling you. Gender wage gap.
Well, there was this whole video that I've seen on how I think it's Asian men and black women are the least sought after profiles on dating websites.
I've seen that before. That they put out about that.
So
I mean,
watch out, Shane.
I mean, and if that's the case, then I mean, you can't really help that because there are just people out there who, I'm sure there are people who are specifically looking for Asian men or specifically looking for black women. I mean, there are people like that, but other people, they don't want to look, they don't want to look for that. They want to look for, white women or white dude or black guy or whatever, or Asian women probably, oh my God, they probably get so much shit.
They're like on the top of the list.
Somewhere up there, yeah, definitely top 2 or 3, I would think.
I think Middle Eastern women top the charts. And I think, I think Asian women are like 2nd or 3rd in that list. If it's the same video I'm thinking of. So it's interesting.
Really?
I haven't seen the video, but I just seen like the data on like the dating websites like Match.com and stuff.
Yeah, OkCupid does one every year.
I did this.
Really?
I did a series of Facebook posts not this last, but the one before Valentine's Day. I did this whole like Bernie Sanders-esque like words. Like, so I was saying like, I think that the single people to dating people disparity is wrong. I said, I propose a single dater system.
That's funny.
Every single man has a human right to a date on Valentine's Day. And a whole bunch of and people were like jumping on it, like a bunch of leftists, of course, completely flew over their head. And they're like, what are you trying to say? What do you mean? It's like,
yeah, they didn't get it.
They can't meme. That's what they can't do.
The left can't meme. Yeah,
they can't.
I've seen the worst memes because I have like a whole list on Twitter of, I guess, left-leaning or feminist people, and some of the they try to post memes and they're not even like they wouldn't be considered memes, but they think that they're memes or they think they're funny.
What's the worst one that you've seen? Give us a brief synopsis.
Well, okay, there was one about like intersectionality and how it was supposed to be a meme, but it turned out to be like a lecture, like of like
they're all lectures.
Be able to not judge queer black women. I don't know. It was like I have to find that.
It's like this. Here, I'll summarize a leftist meme. It's like let's say you have like a really like like a memeing looking kind of like a woman, and she's like, when you look fly as fuck, but then it's like when you look fly as fuck, but then you're trying to defy the gender norms by sharing your intersectionality, but then you're a strong independent woman. And it's like this whole lecture, and you're like, by the time you're halfway done, you're like, where's the joke?
Yeah. Like, it's just a lecture. That was just a lecture.
Yeah, it's like, should they know that from their own, like, trying to meme their own shit, they basically should realize that their own shit's fucking retarded.
Exactly.
I think they have like a moral high ground or something. They're like, we need to teach people.
Jim Roberts says that I have
signaling.
Nico's PJW impression running through my head. Imagine my shock.
There you go.
And that's our most watched video.
Yeah, because everyone hated it. Because they just read the title and then hit dislike.
Okay, so I did that on purpose.
Which video was that?
On purpose. What was it? Aziz Ansari is a piece of shit or is retarded stupid or something like that. Yeah. So I did that because I wanted to know how that was gonna go, and it would. I mean.
And people were like, "Why are you being mean to Aziz Ansari?
And
they call us candy bitches."
Yeah, that basically told us that they didn't watch the video because we titled it just to see how it would go down. And that's basically how it went. But in the video itself, we actually do say that, what he did wasn't even anything like, he's just an awkward person, I guess. I don't know.
He's just really bad at picking up girls and having sex, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, the humanity.
I know, right?
I can tell you guys about how
that article, he's just super awkward. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To tell you guys how I talk to Brooke about when I'm on dating websites, and I'll tell him, I'm like, see, this photo is deceptive. This whole profile is deceptive. It'll say curvy, and then they'll have like a picture from like up, and then like you'll like scroll past another picture, and they're like 300 pounds, and then I want to report that profile for being fake. But you can't.
That's not your real picture, man.
Just be like, deceptive on dating profiles. Well, she is curvy. No, she's not.
I mean, that would suck. Like, if you have a dating profile like that, then wouldn't you assume that when you meet in person, the person's going to be like, I don't even recognize you? I don't know. Like,
yes.
Be like, where are you? I don't know. I can't find you. I thought you were going to be at this cafe. And they'd be like, I'm sitting right here.
Yes, that is exactly what these women think. I could tell you that from personal experience.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like, I've had a lot of profiles on plentyofwhales.com. And,
Right? Oh, my God.
Is that
a legit dating site?
I think it's actually Plenty of Fish, but I think you get what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah, they're really going for it.
Yeah,
it's definitely a meme. It's definitely a meme.
And it really is what he's saying is these women, like Amos and myself spent a lot of time in the manosphere. So, we're reading people like
Hold on a second. You mean people sphere?
No, we don't have People's Fair on the island, man. I'm sorry. We're like 20 years behind. But close enough.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, like, literally, I would meet these women. I mean, I haven't done it in a while because I got a girlfriend now, but I would meet women in the UK. They got like 3 pictures up. All of them are like 3 and 4 and 5 years old. I meet them up in these places. I always go for coffee. My first date is always coffee. If you're going to meet me for coffee, you're meeting me because nobody's coming out for like, $3 worth of coffee, right? So, and I got to say, I've been like literally shocked at the people who show up, right? Now, I'm a gentleman. I will spend like an hour getting to know these whales and be as kind as I can, but it's very deceptive. Like catfish is.
Yeah. It's basically that would be kind of like catfishing.
It's a lot of that is going on. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, the whole thing that I've even seen is just it's all like the first, like okay, Cupid. I think you can have up to like 10 photos. The first like 3 or 4 will be like weird angles to make themselves look a certain way.
Like an angle
like
from
this?
all the way up here.
Yeah, from up
That's it.
here, or like just up here, or like in an angle where like I don't know, it's whatever. And then there's like maybe 2 or 3 like cleavage photos, just like that. And then you like get to the very end, and then you see like a group of like she's in a group, and you have to really look closely to go, oh, that one.
Like, so that's what it actually look like. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
or if you're like me, that decides to go, okay, so Minnesota's full of small towns. So if you want to find someone, it's probably not that hard. So I'll type in a name and information I have, and I'll try to find them on Facebook. See if I can. If I can't, then it's like, okay, whatever. But if I can, I'm like, oh, that's what you really look like.
Yeah. I
So
never use dating websites, so I don't really know anything about that.
is there a Hapa dating website? Is that like a thing?
Our Happas.
Yeah, or
Shane and Nico, how did you guys meet? You all met through like our Happas or like on Twitter?
we met through Twitter. He sent me. He followed me, and
Yeah,
then
that's how it starts.
and then he sent me a GIF of a.
Smooth, Shane.
And then I started talking to him about Texas. Wait, what did I say? I was like, why? And then you were like, because Texas.
Oh yeah, because Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's how. And then I was like, oh wait, you're in Texas too. I'm in Texas. And then that.
Yeah.
But Shane already knew you were in Texas.
I had Dallas on my profile, so I guess you did.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we gotta hook Amos up with like a nice Hapa girl.
Oh, Jesus. He always does this.
That's what I was looking for.
I mean, if you're doing the ethno state, right, there's got to be like a whole community, Hapa banking, Hapa grocery.
I mean, if the alt-right and if the alt-right men can have kids with Asian women or just non-white
Well, that would be
women,
the Tahapa ethno state then.
well, there you go. If you're willing to have sex and have kids with someone who's not of your race, especially the Asians, then you're
Right.
welcome to come in. Let's go. Come on. That's why we had Father of a Hapa. That's why we had him in our Hapa ethno state live stream, because he's married to a Korean.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a kid with the Korean lady, and so he's welcome. Come on, you can come on in.
He's a Hapa producer.
There you go, have a producer. There you go.
That's what we'll call it.
There you go, have a producer number 400.
What are you talking about?
I wanted to say 400, but it came out as 400. So, oops.
Yeah, I guess.
You guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be like a
Oh,
national anthem?
Oh, never mind.
National anthem.
Never mind. I was like, hey, I'm totally a hot Hapa girl. Let's date, Amos. I'm 100% confirmed, not a catfish, says Vesuvius.
He was supposed to be on the Hapa ethno state.
Yeah, that
stream.
fucking liar.
Fucking yeah. Yeah, right.
Hey, Vesuvius, you need to be on the live stream next time, the ethno state live stream. Fucking pop down, motherfucker.
Wow, you're so mean.
I know, I'm such a good person.
So where is this ethno state gonna be then? Are you all like gonna take the land outside of Egypt or something, or what's the plan?
It's Hawaii. There's already a lot of half Asians there.
The bad thing, though, about it is that Hawaii is very blue, so I don't know how it's going to work out.
I know. Those
But
people are
here's
real.
the thing. Here's the thing.
Okay. Yeah,
If they're all commies, it's not that hard to overthrow it.
No, it's true.
they'll starve. They'll starve. It's pretty easy to offer them food to join your side.
Exactly. We just go in there with like one handgun, and we'll take over the whole land.
I mean, have you guys been to Hawaii? I don't know. Have you got anybody actually gone there?
No, but I'd like to go. Does anyone want to sponsor me to go?
I think I was there. I think I lived there for.
You did?
It was a short period of time, but I
Wow.
can't remember how long it was. It was a long time ago, though. I think it was when I'm pretty sure it was with my dad, but I can't remember though.
Did you experience?
I'm pretty sure he lived there. I don't know if he lived there or if he visited. I can't 100% remember.
Did you experience any shadism while you were in Hawaii?
Say that again.
Did you experience any shadism when you were in Hawaii?
To be completely honest, I like I said, I don't 100% remember, but
okay.
What's shadism?
Shadism.
Yeah, I was. My memory when I was a child is very like blurry, so I don't remember anything. It's all a blur.
Great.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shadism is when it's the same race, but they're in different shades. So you can get somebody like it's like the East Indians. They go from very dark East Indians to very fair skin. It's the same race, but it's a different complexion, and sometimes they favor one over the other. So like the Polynesian Asians, Thailand, Indonesia tend to be darker than like the Japanese and Chinese sort of thing. So I didn't know if you've experienced any of that.
It'd be like if we were racist against like darker skinned Germans.
Like my dad was actually pretty dark for like a Caucasian guy. So yeah, he actually received a lot of that, and people, it's weird, but yeah, that actually does happen.
That can kind of happens as well, especially if you're in your Asian side of the family or your culture. Like if I'm in Taiwan, I'm like white.
Enough, apparently, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like a weird,
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you're around Asians, you're white, and then when you're around white people, you're Asian.
Yeah. So maybe our hop is up.
Yeah, we should all be depressed and start hating ourselves.
Did all of you do martial arts?
I did.
Oh, how dare
you. I mean, I should, right? Because like soon guns are going to be banned, and then knives are going to be banned. So I better start learning martial arts.
I learn how to use my fist.
That's right.
I did martial arts.
You did? Like, what did you do, Amos?
I did one semester of Taekwondo after school. When I was in Taiwan, they offered it as an after-school thing.
Yeah, I did some kung fu. I did Bruce Lee style Jet Kundo.
Oh, nice.
Was it Dao Tran Fa, which is like White Tiger stuff? Man, I'm like more Asian than the Asians here. What's going on?
You're probably better at math than we are.
That's not like
Wait, what about like any of you guys play an instrument?
I played clarinet. I don't know if that counts.
I want to play drums.
No, it's got to be like a classical instrument, like a violin
or a piano.
Recorders
don't count.
Yeah, she can sing.
Only in South Korea.
Only in South Korea.
The next K-pop sensation.
That would suck so bad. They'd be like, you can only eat one apple a day, and you have to do like 15 routines of dance routines. No.
Yeah, their whole shtick over there and how they get into shape and all that.
I knew someone who was going to debut in a Korean girl group. She couldn't get through the training because they wanted her to have plastic surgery, and they wanted her to like get injections in her legs and stuff. And they made her eat one apple a day. And so now she can't eat apples because it's like traumatizing.
Wow.
Triggered by apples.
But it's true. Like South Korea is actually one of the biggest cosmetic surgery countries in the world. Yeah, if
I ever got plastic surgery, that's where I'd go because they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And they learned it from Thailand, ironically, but that's a whole other story.
Thailand is famous for many different things.
Yeah, I've been to Thailand before. So
yeah, I'm hoping to visit again in probably a couple months, but that's a whole other story.
What part of Thailand did you visit before?
We did Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and then later I went to Phuket.
Okay.
I went to a little small town, Hua Hin. I think the palace is there.
Yeah, that's right.
Where is that close to? Like what major cities?
Hua Hin is 3 hours south of Chiang Mai, I think.
Okay, I lived in Chiang Mai for 3 months, but I mean, I've been to the airport in Bangkok, but that doesn't really count. So.
Changi Airport, yeah. Shit, have you been out of the country?
Yeah, I've been to.
Well, you were born in Korea.
Yeah, I was born in Korea. You can probably get.
I'm assuming South Korea, right?
No. Actually, I'm actually one of Kim Jong Un's long lost sons. But yeah, I was born in Korea, South Korea. You could probably guess how. But I lived in Japan for I think about 3 or 4 years, somewhere in there. And then I've also visited the UK.
Your family's British.
Yeah, I have a family who's British. So.
Hey,
yeah.
Anytime you're across on the pond in the UK, you can look me up, man. We'll hang out.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, I want to try and go within the next like 5 years. I want to visit my family again.
Yeah, because you have to meet your family.
Yeah.
Just don't have any knives in your suitcase. Not even not even like a Swiss Army knife. Just can't have any of that.
No butter knives or those plastic scissors they have in kindergarten.
Nothing
or
sharp at all.
Or plastic knives off the plane that came with the food.
Yeah, be careful about that.
Oh my god.
You guys are crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in the UK, I think it was 2006. So it was a while ago, about more than a decade.
It's before all the crazy stuff.
Yeah,
it's different now.
Yeah, it was funny because when I visited, most of the time when I was visiting was me just walking around, just kind of like looking around, seeing all the sights and all that stuff, and seeing how like all the shops and all the fish and chip areas.
Part of the UK were you at?
Oh man, where was it?
Was it London?
I don't think it was London. I think it was.
It was out in the country, right? I think it was, right?
I think so. I think I'm wrong, but I think it was around Oxford.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Oxford is nice. Yeah, Oxfordshire is a nice place.
Yeah. And I just remember walking around and just, seeing how everyone drove and all this everything. It was, obviously it was so different from, what I'm used to. So it was just really
wrong side of the road.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it was still an interesting experience that I still kind of remember.
You guys are welcome to come out, hang out anytime. I'm across there. But I wanted to ask, what is going on with your president and the whole Syria situation? So, are we going into World War III or what?
I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Don't even get Shane started on foreign policy.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Brooke, because okay, so I don't want to get into because to be honest, because I'm actually going to have a more of a foreign policy live stream with Will Porter and Scott Horton, who's like a fucking encyclopedia of all the Middle East stuff that's going on. So he's like the main two guys. So I can't wait to talk to him. We're actually going to see him speak too. So I think it's the day before he comes here. But anyway, I'm glad you mentioned that because remember last year, there was a big story too, where Trump launched strikes, and I think the bases that he struck were like empty, so it wasn't like any, I don't think he killed him. Yeah, I don't think he killed anybody, and everyone's like, oh, it's gonna start World War III. Like today, I don't think it would get that bad, but it's not gonna help things,
right?
So I think people are saying. I think people are overreacting when it's going to be like World War III. This is it. It's over. If we do that, I'm not going that far. But I'm also not someone who's going to sit here and say it's not something that should help. It's not going to. We're not going to do it. Like, what's the point? Like, what is the point of
It's a waste of money.
Yeah, it's a waste of money.
Waste of people.
What's the point of Assad doing this chemical weapons attack? When Trump, like a few days before, said Trump was like, yeah, I want to get out soon, like legit. Actually, he's got John Bolton, so that doesn't help things. He's like the worst person you could possibly have in your cabinet. But to him even say something like, yeah, I want to get out because It's basically, you know, why are we there still? And then to conveniently have like a few days later have some chemical attack on civilians, like what's the gain there for Assad? Because doesn't he know that? Yeah, guess what happened to Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi? Not too good, not too good. You know, so
what I'm hearing, I mean, I've heard a lot of people like the main concern, because I watched the Tucker Carlson thing monologue he gave on it, and I really thought about it. I was like, wait, he's like, there should be red flags everywhere if there's bipartisan support for military involvement and something that looks as sketchy as this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Tucker Carlson is not, and like if you were saying like 5-10 years ago, Tucker Carlson would be the one saying this, you'd be like, no, there's no fucking way, because he was a huge neocon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was a massive war. I mean, he was on CNN talking about what's going on in Iraq is amazing. You know, the gist of it. I'm not really sure what happened, but I'll probably ask.
He left CNN. That's what happened.
But I believe he was also on MSNBC too for a while.
He was.
And now he's on Fox. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What was it? John Novak and him. They used to do Crossfire against.
That's it.
Yeah, I can't even remember the other guy who was on.
It was basically a debate show. It was basically
Yeah, I used to watch it back then.
Yeah, and it's funny too because you know, like Amos was saying, his whole monologue and saying, you know, this doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. What possible gain does Assad have in doing this? You know, when things are, you know, I mean, and it's not like we're saying that Assad's like the greatest human being ever. I mean, he's not he's not perfect. He's done some really shitty things, but at the same time,
he has nothing to gain.
Yeah, basically.
Well, the big thing I think is just we always talk about how like there's the left and right, but it's like when they're actually working together, that's weird.
That's when you know it's actually bad.
Yeah,
it's the military-industrial complex, right? So, I mean, not to sound conspiratorial, there are military bases that need funding all across the United States, and you know, you need a good enemy, you know, to justify funding.
Because you got to keep the frogs from becoming gay.
What other country that I don't know of any other country, and I may be wrong, but what other country has military bases around the world but the United States of America?
None.
Does the UK have any military bases here? Does Germany have any bases here?
I mean, we have a few, but not like you guys after World War II.
Hey. Don't let me into this.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, why? Like,
don't you get it? We have to help and police everyone so that they're doing, you know.
Yeah, when the Brits withdrew after World War II to like focus on Europe, the Americans moved in. So like, you know, the 19th century was the English Empire, and the Brits were basically policing the world. That didn't work out so great. But literally after World War II, Europe was decimated. England was in shambles. The Americans just moved into all the bases that the Brits had, and y'all became the de facto policemen of the world.
Yeah.
So why does every president, and Trump especially, is saying we're going to have the most powerful and strongest military? It's already the most powerful and strongest military. What more do you fucking need?
Yeah, you have. I mean, you got to say that for propaganda, because I mean you're up against the Chinese. Nothing against the Chinese. You're up against, right? Europe is looking to militarize, like the EU wants a military to like stave off Russia, and you're against the Russians, right? Now, this is politics 101. You don't need to actually build the amazing military that you're talking about. You just need to make it sound like it's an amazing military, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. And it's pure propaganda. Like the Chinese are overspending on their military budget, but their technology is still about 10 years behind what the Americans have.
It's kind of like with North Korea and how they were saying we have the biggest, strongest military. I mean, really? Do you really think that? Like, do we really think that North Korea has the strongest?
They have the largest standing army in the world, I think, right?
China has the largest standing army. It's like 200 million.
Yeah, I'd probably say China. Yeah. But going back to Syria, I don't think that's, you know, because we've already done this type of thing before, and every single time, especially since the war on terror started,
Correct.
It's just made things worse. So what makes it think that this time, because the last 10 times those were lies. I'm sorry, there were no WMDs. I apologize. You know, none of this other bullshit. Yeah, I know Libya. I know Obama started that. I'm sorry, but this time it's for real. Like, for real, it's legit. It's really legit. I promise.
What about what SE couple think? We can't just let this happen. We have to do something.
Yeah, we have to do something.
For children.
Okay, so
Think of the children.
Like Tucker Carlson saying why we shouldn't do anything, or why are we doing this, or at least question it. SC Cup's like, no, go all the way. Fuck it, who cares?
Yeah, she's like, just do everything.
And Dave Smith, the audacity of Dave Smith to be like, no, there's nothing to gain here. Why would Assad do this? Why are we over there? Like, yeah, because like I said before, the last few times we've done this, it's worked
out great.
Yeah, it's gonna be paid for in oil. Everyone's gonna love us, and we're not gonna be there for more than a year. Yeah, we're still over there, like almost like 20 years now. Like, come on.
Like almost my entire lifetime, right?
Yeah, that's the sad part. People are about, like, once you turn 18, like people are born in 2001 and they turn 18. Yeah, they're old enough now fighting that war. Isn't that great?
Exactly.
Oh, and speaking
this is what you've done. You've gotten him onto anti-war.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm basically now turning into Scott Horton because this is all he does.
So we're just gonna bring this back around.
The last thing that I wanted to mention is with North Korea, and if he actually makes this work and actually makes peace with not just North Korea but just the Koreas in general.
Yeah.
Give the man a Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, if he does and all this other stuff, I don't know about that's kind of hinder that whole thing, but. If he legit makes it, give the man Nobel Peace Prize, and then all the anti-trumpets are just gonna their heads are gonna explode. They go, "Oh my God, I can't believe this motherfucker, this fucking racist, sexist motherfucker has a Nobel Peace Prize." Obama has a Nobel Peace Prize, and there's a Libyan slave trade because that motherfucker.
No, I agree. If the North Korea situation plans out like that, he should get the Nobel Peace Prize because technically that is the last dictatorship. If you don't really count Cuba, that's really existing. So that would kind of be the end of fascism in the world, really.
The one bad thing though too is one of the good things that Obama did when it came to foreign policy was the Iran nuclear deal. And Donald Trump's like, "Oh, it's a bad deal. It's terrible." It's like, well, what's so bad about it?
Yeah, it still gives them a nuclear bomb in 10 years. So that's the downfall of the Obama. Iran deal, but we'll see. A lot could happen in 10 years.
That's true. I don't know. I mean, Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize just because of the fact that he has this audacity of hope, and peace and prosperity.
Also, he's black.
Thank you, Nicola. Well, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It doesn't hurt the fact that he's black.
That's what I saw when it happened.
It would have just been worse if they gave it to George W. Bush.
That doesn't make any sense at all. Why would they ever give it?
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. A lot of that stuff, him and Dick Cheney are, two of the main reasons why all this bullshit's happening. And everyone's praising them. Like, a lot of the fucking Ellen DeGeneres had George W. Bush on her show. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me just clarify here, right? So, I mean, are you guys old enough to have voted for George W. Bush in the 2000s?
No.
Okay.
I'm 26. So I'm
27. The first election I would have been old enough to vote for would have been Obama McCain, and I voted for neither.
A smart man.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I just kind of wanted to get some perspective.
So
I mean, I liked Bush on some things, but definitely the Iraq thing is when he pushed it over the edge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm probably the oldest guy in the room, so.
I mean, it's funny because you see some of the things he said during the debates, with Gore and all that, saying that we should be nation building and and all this other stuff, and then 9/11. I don't know.
It did change things. 9/11 definitely, because I was actually in Washington D.C. Like
Oh, really?
the week it happened. I was on the flight, United Airlines,
Shit.
the Los Angeles Washington flight. I was on it like 1 week before.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Oh,
So
man.
I could understand. I mean, I understand it was unprecedented, and there was going to be an overreaction.
Yeah.
So I was kind of on board with the Afghanistan stuff. I understand you're going after the Taliban. The Iraq stuff is left over from his dad. I don't think he lied. I think he had bad information. I think all of the security agencies were kind of plotting against him. But it was a disaster. You never should have gone and tried to destabilize it. But that's been American foreign policy ever since, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument that one of the reasons Trump was elected president was because he especially on the Republican debate stage, was saying we're wasting trillions of dollars on this stuff, we're wasting money, we're wasting lives. Why are we there?
But you didn't vote for Trump.
I did not vote for Trump, no, and I didn't vote for him. Don't make that assumption either.
I didn't vote either. But
Right, I guess you're all Gary Johnson. I know Amos voted for Gary Johnson.
No, I did not vote for Gary Johnson. No, I did not vote for that guy.
Amos, you voted for Gary Johnson, didn't you?
Oh, don't do that, man.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you're gonna
come after me.
You're gonna plead the fifth.
Where's the Aleppo thing? You still voted for him?
I was more so. I think I told you guys about this. I kind of see it as more like I absolutely loathe the Libertarian Party.
So then
Yeah, that's legit. Yeah, it's legit.
But I'd rather have small steps in the right direction than small steps in the complete wrong direction.
That's a good point.
So Gary Johnson was the right step. He was the most, I've talked to Brooke. I think he was the most electable libertarian because he wasn't crazy like the other candidates that were, he was just kind of like this more
Vernon Supreme.
Well, yeah. he was the most like palatable. Like the American public saw him as like, hey, he's a little bit out there, but he's not like McAfee or something like that. Just
I loved McAfee. Come on.
Yeah, you liked him, and I think it's a great thing. But I mean, for the position that the United States is in, you need someone that's a little bit more
less on drugs.
Right. Yeah, it just makes me kind of realize we could have had Ron Paul. Or even Rand Paul. We could have had him, but he messed.
Either of those.
Yeah, and now the Libertarian Party is like going nuts over Adam Kokesh, which I'm kind of like, come on.
Well, have you heard about his plan? I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I mean, he never got to that point. It's kind of like it sounds kind of ridiculous, doesn't it?
His ultimate goal is basically small scale county size like nation states almost like completely break down the American, but it's like you're not going to pull that off in one presidency.
Because I went to one of his rallies like in person. We went to one of his rallies in person, and he's kind of running on the platform that if he becomes president, he's going to immediately like unelect himself, so there's no president.
Right.
I just think that'd be very, very hard for the American people to deal with.
As much as I can go get my little ANCAP boner thinking about that, I could just say, hold on. I don't want the United States to literally split in half overnight because there has to be gradual changes to, that's just the way a republic kind of is. You need gradual changes over to a more libertarian government.
Right.
And any person that can lead us in that direction in a small step, which is the best way, I think, is the way you do it. Because if someone like Adam Kokesh even remotely becomes president, he gets shot, the country splits in half. People go crazy because it's such a sudden shift. Whole establishments will come after him and come after the people too, and it's just like, it's just little by little.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, like the show was saying, we met him, and he was a good guy, but
I like the plan, but I don't think it will work.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Shane, are you going to tell us who you actually did vote for, or
nobody?
Okay, fair enough.
I voted for nobody because I missed the deadline.
But I will say this, though. I will say this. The Trump versus Hillary debates, especially the second one. Wait, not the second. No, it was the second one where he said you'd be in jail. Fucking amazing.
I agree.
Like every single debate was like it was like the Super Bowl. Like what's gonna happen? It's gonna fucking
That's true.
Every single one. The first one was like one of those. It was like the first quarter. You're like, oh, okay, it was all right, I guess. And then the second one was like the second and third quarter. Oh my god, it's a fucking And then,
I wish I would have been on Twitter during these debates. It would have been great.
I know, right? And then the third one was kind of one of those. It was all right, but the second one was like the fucking. You'd be in jail. Fucking perfect.
I remember that.
Fucking perfect. I remember that. I was watching the Compound Media. I was watching their coverage back when it was happening, and when he said that, they were like, "Oh my god!" Like high fiving. Yeah, I was like a basketball team scored like the game-winning 3-pointer or something. You know?
That's crazy, man. Where were you, Shane and Nico? And Amos, you could follow up on this. Where were you when you saw that Trump was going to win the election? Were you watching like an MSNBC or any of these things?
I was watching Compound Media's coverage of it on my phone. And right when he won, Anthony Cumia was like, "We did it! We fucking did it! You deplorables! We fucking did it!" You know, that guy. Pretty much the whole night.
I was home, I think.
Oh yeah.
You didn't watch it, Amos?
I was like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and stuff. Like, well, because I called Brooke the day of the election. I think, right? Yeah,
I called it. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think Trump's gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, because people were like, "What? Why wouldn't you vote for like, you know, Trump or Hillary?" And I'm like, because like I'm gonna vote for. I just said I'm gonna vote for Gary Johnson because he's most in line with my views.
Yeah.
But I know full well he's not gonna win. Why would you do that? It's a wasted vote. Is it a wasted vote, or is it actually voting in line with?
That's a terrible mentality about that.
Oh yeah. So then,
yeah.
So
because everyone was, oh, we need change, and you know, we need to do this and that. It's like, can't you like think for a second? We vote Republican, same shit happens, more government spending, all the bullshit. Democrats, same bullshit, blah blah blah. It's just a different what things they spend on. The Republicans will spend more on military and defense spending. The Democrats will spend more on like anything else you can think of.
Welfare.
Yeah. I mean, we're 21 trillion in debt. What country can stabilize in 21 trillion in debt? I mean, get the fuck out of here.
I was on a stream a couple weeks ago with Sarcasm of Liberty, and he had a guy from. Have you guys heard of the website Think Liberty?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had one of their people there, and we're talking, and we started talking about like our favorite presidents and our least favorite presidents. First off, who are your guys' favorite presidents?
I don't know.
None of them?
Not even Lincoln, man. He freed the slaves, bro.
Not even like any early. I mean, even if it was like one of the first 10 presidents.
Lincoln wanted to end the Civil War, even if it meant not freeing the slaves. He just wanted to end the Civil War. If the slaves weren't free, but it meant ending the war, 100%, let's do it.
Sure.
Okay.
Like literally, ending slavery was not top priority for him.
Totally agree.
Right. So back to the question: who would you say is your favorite president, Shane?
I don't have one.
Wow.
Okay. What about you, Nico?
I changed my views a lot.
I would have to like read up on everyone because
I used to think Reagan, but now I don't think so because I heard all the bad stuff, and I'm like, oh.
Like it's funny because Calvin Coolidge had a lot of small government thinking in his, you know,
right.
in his especially with the economic views. We're very small government, you know.
Least favorite president, then we'll go with
least
that.
favorite. Least favorite.
Carter.
What about that one guy?
I mean, you can make an argument for Woodrow Wilson. You can make an argument for FDR. You can make an argument for Pierce. I mean, literally any president from 10 to 15, terrible. Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, all
like
those
his
people.
thing.
So
I don't know anything.
I could tell.
What about you, Nico? Who's your favorite and least favorite president?
I really don't know. I used to think that I liked Reagan because, like, especially in like my mom's family, everybody like really loved him. But then hearing all the stuff that he tells me about him, then now I don't know.
Yeah, mention the Iran-Contra affair to Reaganites, and they'll fucking want to massacre your face. Want to kill you.
Yeah, now I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with it now. Like, I don't want to think about it.
Least favorite president?
Least favorite, probably based on what he told me. What is his name? The first one you mentioned.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson.
Because the Federal Reserve?
Yeah.
And the Fed.
Exactly. What about you, Brooke? I don't know if you know too much about the presidents.
Oh, I know a few. I like Thomas Jefferson, definitely.
Yeah.
I like Teddy Roosevelt. Oh my God. There was no greater example of American ingenuity and power than Teddy Roosevelt. I love Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, he built the Panama Canal, right? I mean, if you want to talk about intervention for commerce and taking the world stage, gotta love Teddy Roosevelt. I like Lincoln, practical guy. I mean, his Gettysburg Address, simple, short, to the point. And I agree with you, Shane. The slavery thing, and I've read his papers where he said, look, ending the slavery was secondary. He really wanted to end the war and stuff like that. So it was a byproduct. But the fact is that he taught himself the military strategy. Like, he was a thinker, and so I would say those are the good guys. I agree with you on the Woodrow Wilson. He was a disaster. FDR, won the war, but the New Deal was a disaster. There's another one I can't remember. Taft was pretty useless as well.
Fat.
Yeah, well, he was Teddy Roosevelt's appointment. He didn't want somebody as great as him. But Taft was pretty useless. I mean, there are a lot of them that aren't. And I mean, Carter has been completely inept from the 70s. He oversaw the recession. And I mean, he only got one term. Iran-Contra basically did him in. But so I think those are my least favorite. But I mean, there have been some great American, like, actual leadership. Nobody's perfect. I get that.
Right.
But, really expelling good Western values. I think Teddy Roosevelt, for me, probably rose to the top with that. Like, there's nobody. He did conservation. He built the Panama Canal. He convinced the American people they need to build the Panama Canal for trade. I mean, he was just all around like an American man sort of thing. And we need more of that, I think,
Good luck with that.
All these fucking soy boys in the place.
Oh, jeez. I'd say like my favorite, like, if I picked one favorite, it'd be Thomas Jefferson. Although I really do like John Adams.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of sort of this balancing kind of president, because he kind of balanced between believing in some federal government while also believing in the states' rights. However, my least favorite president is actually Alexander Hamilton.
I don't know, what did Hamilton do? I don't know what Hamilton did.
Hamilton started the First National Bank. Some of his. So if you watch the John Adams miniseries, that's kind of where I got this from. There's a scene in there. I mean, it's not like it really happened, but I mean, they're showing like their views. They're setting up these situations. So there's a conversation because Thomas Jefferson was part of the first cabinet, as was Alexander Hamilton, and as they were the first cabinet under Washington. They had this whole conversation, and you hear Hamilton basically proposing the idea of the federal bank, of the first.
I have to stop you. Alexander Hamilton was never president.
Was he?
He was never president.
Oh!
Wait. But he was. Hold on.
Unless he was like president for a day. But yeah, I don't know.
Shane 1, Amos 0.
fuck.
That's how he said that. I was just like, oh my god. That's
Jesus fuck.
You're obsessed with this?
Yeah,
Boom.
sort of.
I noticed.
Favorite founding father.
American history. The funny thing is like he's like obsessed with American history, and I'm like, this is boring. I'd rather learn world history. But he's
Good job, Shane. Good job.
Put me in my place.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean,
No, it's all good, bro. Shit.
I wouldn't have actually known that until you mentioned it, Shane. So thank you for the history lesson.
I mean, are you thinking of like James Madison or James Monroe or something like that?
Monroe was a
Probably, yeah.
disaster.
I'm just thinking. I mean, I definitely don't like the. I mean, Hamilton definitely played a large role in because his whole belief, which obviously threaded, sort of became woven into sort of how our country operates, is the idea that we had to have debt in order to be considered a nation. He said, "Yeah, we should have debt," and so this whole conversation in the show was basically like Jefferson was like, "So you're saying?" A farmer in the South, his production is going to be essentially indebted to a broker in New York, who is then indebted to a banker in London. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, so he basically said the more debt the states owe to the federal government, the more control they will have over them. And he thought, yeah, but we need to, he says, the more debt we have, the more credit we have with the world. And I'm like, what?
So he's basically saying that, like you were saying, the more debt that the government has, they can have control of the populace.
The debt over the states, the debt they can hold over the states, and the debt they could hold in the world to be considered sort of this, basically a good person to lend credit to. So not only is it like, oh, we're going to control our people, we're also going to be taken seriously because we owe people money. Because we do stuff with money. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. And so, I mean, of course, Jefferson was like a super libertarian for his time and was kind of like, no, we shouldn't do that. Now, there's some views that, like, some more crazy views that Jefferson had that I thought was interesting. He believed we should have a constitutional convention every 19 years. Basically rewrite the entire Constitution every time. And because he felt his view was he goes for no generation has any power over another, as one nation has power over another. So he said, if this generation, if we drafted our Constitution, why do we have the power to dictate law and of the land over the next generation? So he figured 19 years was about the time it would take for a generation to kind of fully cycle through.
So you're saying like all the generation right now should make their own laws and basically do it.
And that's the downfall, because then he was thinking, well, because nowadays we would have like a super like left-leaning, probably a very left-leaning kind of law.
Yeah. I don't think he would ever anticipate.
Right, but that was his more. I mean, I understand the principle of it, to say, okay, one generation shouldn't have control over another, as one nation has control over another nation. But it's like, yeah, but here's the thing: if you prepare something when you know what you're doing, versus if you prepare for something that when you don't know what you're doing, if America is the same the way it is today, and we tried writing a whole new constitution, we'd probably have hate speech laws.
No, Bro, you totally would. Like, I could tell you for a fact, because the UK does not have a codified constitution.
Right.
Our constitution is summed up in 3 words: Parliament is sovereign. And the only rule of Parliament is that we cannot bind a future Parliament from making decisions. So exactly what Jefferson is saying. However, that just leads to more and more government power, because there's nothing to keep the UK Parliament in check, right? So New Zealand, Israel, and the UK are the only countries in the world that don't have a codified constitution. We make it up as we go along. Now, there are advantages to that and there are disadvantages, which is usually the violation of civil rights. But the advantage is we can actually adapt quickly. We don't have constitutional roadblocks to like gay marriage and probably more libertarian thinking liberties. The problem is in our system, we believe that the parliament grants the rights rather than they being innate within the human being. And that's the problem. So we think we can give people rights, and if we don't like what they're doing with it, we can take it back. And that's the issue.
Is it like negative rights or something?
Yeah, like negative rights and versus positive rights. Correct. That's like John Locke's philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are we doing on time, guys? I mean, I think we're hitting like, two hours and...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We're hitting 2 hours.
Yeah, it's funny how it works, because sometimes, we'll do like an hour and it's like, okay, that's it. But then other times, like now, it's like,
It'll
oh
just
my
be
God, 2
naturally.
hours, holy shit, it's a
Yeah.
long time. But
4 people could talk about a lot of stuff.
that's true, yeah.
No, this is great, man. I mean, even if we ended up, we close it out in a couple minutes, we should do it again, man. I think this is good content for your channel, good exposure. We obviously have a lot of, we're good conversationalists. We could talk about a lot of issues.
Yeah, especially if you're dinner on the weekend, we can just do it however long.
Oh yeah, and I mean, yeah, you should have us on your channel sometime.
there you go, Amos. Set it up, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, like I was saying before, we have another live stream that we're gonna do with Will Porter and Scott Horton. We've already done one with them already, so now we're gonna have them both for the one that we're doing with them. So it's gonna be all foreign policy. So
he's gonna blow up, basically.
It's gonna be crazy. we're definitely have to do this again on your channel and our channel. Just
Yeah, we can always go back.
Exactly.
Back and forth. Yep. But,
I guess we'll go ahead and end it. Like I think we're just about to hit 2 hours. Yeah. So
I think you're all right. Yeah. That's a
any
record.
questions you guys have for us? I guess I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know Brooke had some questions, so I don't know if we already answered them or not.
Oh, I got a ton of questions, man, but we'll save that for another time. Because you guys are great. Thanks for having me on, man. I had a really great time. I managed to finish a bottle and a half of rum. Rum punch. Yeah, it's great. My only question before we close up is like, what are you guys drinking?
We're drinking this.
Well, he likes to drink this like weak wine, like 7% or whatever.
Oh, dude, man.
I switched to my own because I like really I guess like dry wine. I like pretty dry stuff.
Yeah, I'm a wimp when it comes to alcohol, but I'll drink it.
Must be the Asian side of you, man.
Yeah, we used to drink a lot of beer.
But then we started gaining weight, and we're like, okay, maybe we should switch back to wine.
We'll switch back to wine.
It's good. It's good.
Go ahead and shill all your stuff. So let everyone know, because I'm gonna put your Twitter links down in the description.
We'll put all the links below that you decide to shill, right?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Right, Amos, you started up, and then
obviously, you have our Twitter links on below, but subscribe to my channel. That's where we do the Shitlord Preacher podcast, as well as we do clips there, and of course, subscribe to Brooke Potter's channel, which actually has way more subscribers than I do. Since he puts out content that definitely is more relevant to, I think, different kinds of people too.
I think I'm above Hapa Supremacy as well. I think I'm just above.
How dare you?
Not by much, but like 20 people or something.
Yeah, Brooke talks more on the I guess the lifestyle sort of or stuff with travel, whereas I'm like kind of going down this like political, cultural conversation kind of thing. So
because you two are kind of different, but also you can kind of mesh as well. We're kind of the same because we have specific areas we like to talk about more. So
he's more political and more cultural stuff.
Yeah.
So we kind of
right.
Exactly.
But find me Amos Joseph on YouTube. I'm sure I'll send you guys the link, and so that'll be in the description. No Patreon yet, not that big. So.
We got to get Amos some subscribers, man. We got to promote Amos. Get him a girl, get him subscribers, get him everything.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Brooke, your turn.
Your stuff.
My stuff. All right, I'm on everything, guys, because I'm in competition with another Brooke Potter who's an artist.
Oh,
So
really?
I gotta steal every domain before he gets it, right? So I'm on Gab, Twitter, YouTube, Minds. I used to be on, what was it, VidMe, but I think that's
Vimeo,
yeah, Vimeo, VidMe. I will give our guys here, Nico and Shane, I'll give them all of the links. And of course, I do regular streams with Amos every Thursday on the Shitlord Preachers. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. I mean, you guys have been really fantastic. I know we could have a conversation like this going on for hours. And I really hope we could do a couple more in the future. So it's been a great pleasure meeting you guys.
Pleasure meeting you too.
Yeah.
Do you have like a specific, or what's the specific time that you do on, or your podcasts on Thursdays?
Thursday at 11 in the morning.
Yeah. It's like
11 a.m.
a.m. Central Time, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
5
so
p.m. Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah.
That's what most people are in, I think. So.
We did that just because when Brooke was in the UK, that was about 5 o'clock for him or 6.
Yeah, 5
It was like, so like he's like just finishing up the day, whereas I'm just beginning the day. So that was kind of like the best time for both of us. But now that he's stateside, well, I shouldn't say stateside. Sorry.
I'm on the other side of the pond.
Yeah, he's on the Western Hemisphere. It's we coordinate things like this a little better until he heads back. So
yes.
So is that's on your channel then? That goes live on your channel every Thursday?
Goes live on my channel, and then I pull some clips every now and then, or if it's something that maybe Brooke wants to pull, he'll actually pull clips to his channel too. So most of the Shitlord Preacher stuff is on my channel. The live stream is there, and then Brooke does his stuff on his channel too. So
awesome.
And then for us, I know Manus was talking about we need to do a do we have a PayPal on the Patreon?
No, but we can just put our own.
Oh yeah. So we'll do that actually shortly because it should be pretty easy to do that.
Yeah. We'll make more ways to support us if you can't use it.
Hey,
yeah.
Yo.
So someone was wondering why there's 2 Brooke Potters, because there's the other Brooke Potter, remember?
I do have my Christian missionary website still up and running on YouTube.
Yeah. I used
the one with the beard. If you're looking for my YouTube channel, it's the one with the beard. If I don't have a beard on it, that's my Christian channel. I still post there every so often, but it's like from many years ago. So there you go.
So the newer one is the one with the beard then?
Yeah, you look for the beard. The beard is definitely the defining marker.
The wisdom.
Yes.
Gandalf the Grey.
There you go, man. I'm definitely feeling the gray in this chat.
But yeah, all our links are going to be in the description in our Instagram, our Facebook page, and our individual Twitters. You can support us on Maker Support. And again, on Patreon, we have tiers there. So again, we have one person right now, Viral Bunny, who's going to see our driving video and have a private Google Hangout. So anybody else that wants to have an awesome time, I mean, this is a perfect example. This is exactly what you're going to get if you give us the dough.
Oh my God. Anyway, also tomorrow we're going to be having a live stream with Loudmouth, and then next week we'll be having a live stream with Bunty, and we'll also be putting out a video about taxes soon. So look out for that too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one tomorrow, and Bunty's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and end it, and thanks again to Amos and Brooke for joining us.
The Shitlord Preachers.
The Shitlord Preachers.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Take care, guys.
And, there we go.